Muffin is going to do Sara Bash, and is going to use Bashes.
A minute away from his PB with everything going on. Oh my god!
Is that faster?
Is that faster? Big jerk sometimes. He doesn't want to play nice. Oh my good lord!
What a save!
Oh! He makes it! Wow.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Ori and the Blind Forest All Skills Tournament 2019. We're currently in the bracket stage in the round of 32, and today's race is going to be between number 2 seed Willson and number 31 seed Rufus. Commentating this one for you, my name is Sparring, and I am joined by the wonderful Loopy Loo. Hey Loopy, how's it going?
Hey, going well. Looking forward to beginning our day of races here with what should be a good match. Both runners showing respect for each other, definitely showing some concerns going into this. So I think it's anyone's game, although the times may tell a different story.
Yeah, if you look at the times, yeah, I mean, Willson is number 2 seed. That seeding depends on the average playtime that they managed to get in our qualifier races. And the qualifier time for Willson was a 28:54, so that's really fast considering that his PB is a 28:26. So also lots of consistency in there. Rufus, on the other hand, he has finished with an average of 36:31, so it's definitely going to be hard for him to take this race.
It will indeed, but Ori is a game that is unforgiving and can go any way. Very unexpected things can happen in this game, so if the game's kind, it can give a chance to both players.
There's definitely room for error in here. In this very tournament, in fact, we already have a pretty big upset, so anything can really happen. Of course, I would expect Willson to take this race really, but I'm also pretty excited to see what Rufus has to show us. He's been with Ori for a long time. You can see in the bottom right, he's picked it up for the 12-hour challenge in 2016. So he's definitely familiar with the game.
Yeah, and there are definitely some good tricks here. You can see one on screen right now saying crazy juggle. That's going to be interesting. And also, I think it's noted that we're going to maybe be seeing warm skip. So a couple of personal favorite tricks coming up. They should be exciting as well.
Also, another thing to notice about these runners, Willson is playing with the keyboard and mouse input method, while Rufus is playing on controller. These are just two types of input method that you can play this game basically. Keyboard and mouse has a little bit of an advantage over controller, but over the course of about 30-minute run, it's only like 10 seconds maybe, so not too huge of a difference right there.
Yeah, one big difference in potential is that it's noted, at least in the notes, that Rufus won't be going for any double bashes, which is quite a useful skill, not necessary, but he hasn't noted that he's comfortable with double bashes, so we're unlikely to see it from Rufus's side using that controller. Anyway, we're underway here.
Yep, we're starting out right here, and at about 16 seconds, we can start finally going left. At the start, we'll just be jumping around a little bit. Our destination is going to be the sign skill, which is the first skill in this game. It's our primary method of attacking. Nothing really major. And jumping instead of running, we're just doing that because it's a little bit faster than just moving on the ground. But it's ever so slightly faster, but still worth doing it because it really costs nothing.
Yeah. Now, we have a little bit of time here to talk while they head over to sign and animate, so it might be worth mentioning this early on that there will be a trick you'll see a lot where the runners open the ability menu and move simultaneously in the background. This trick is called a save anywhere and is used frequently in the run to allow you to do as the trick is named, save anywhere, because as you glitch the menu to be open while you're able to move, if you buy an ability on that menu, it will save. So you can do stuff like save during the cutscene and reload to skip it. It's a very useful trick that you will be seeing a lot from both runners.
And look at that on the left. Willson is actually green. There's a series of inputs that you can do in order to change the color of Ori to a random color. You can't really decide which color it's going to be, and it's green for Willson right now. So apart from that, both of our runners just making their way over to the next skill, which is going to be wall jump. Before that, however, we will see them take some intentional damage from the slimes in order to set up for a very interesting trick.
Yes, this trick is known as Ghost Door, and you want to make sure you're as low health, potentially 1 health, so that you can place keystones into a door to begin the opening animation, place a save, and then die. Upon respawning, the door will think it's already open for a moment, allowing you to go through without waiting for the animation to play. Now, you're going to see a divergence of paths, I believe, here, where one player is going to go above and pick up a health cell, whereas, as you can see, Willson on the left is continuing to run left. This is a riskier play from Willson, skipping this health, but does save some time. He will need to catch up on the health. You need at least 5 health to complete this run at the final escape, so he will have to make up the health that he's skipping now. But if it's risky, but it will save him some time. So that's this difference that you're seeing here between the runners.
It's in fact very risky to not take this health, but Willson is one of the top runners. He's pretty confident going for that route. And it saves about 4 seconds. That's actually really important for him in his normal run. So that's kind of a thing with muscle memory as well, in which you don't really want to change any major things you do in your run, even if they seem simpler, because muscle memory can mess you up, and then it's even worse than if you hadn't played for the safe method.
Yeah, and Willson does seem to respect Rufus before the run, typing Munga S in chat and such. He isn't taking this run lightly. He's gonna pull out his stops to get a good time, it seems.
Yes, tournament nerves, of course, everyone is familiar with that. Now, what you saw Willson do right now is put that wall jump skill to use, which he has just picked up. It's pretty much just that you can jump multiple times from the same wall. Now he's going to pick up this experience, and this explosion kills the slime and the bramble wall. Also, he's picked up 12 XP. I know for a fact that Willson is doing the slime genocide route in Blackwood Burrows coming up very soon. So he's going to take specific XP on his way here. You can see him destroying many things. I don't expect Rufus to destroy as many things. Also, he leveled up on the way down. It shouldn't be a problem for him though, because he's not doing the genocide route. And we'll be talking about the differences between the route once it comes up.
I'm going to leave the genocide route explanation to your capable hands, as I do not know much about it, to be honest.
That's totally fair.
Some clean jumps, weaving between platforms to head over to Blackroot from Willson, making every second count.
Now here, coming up right now, is the save anywhere that you alluded to earlier, Loopy. Willson is moving behind the ability menu, and now he's going to enter the cutscene, and then he's going to save. And for some reason, the game is like, if you started watching the cutscene, it sets a flag or something like that, and if you save during the cutscene, you don't have to watch the cutscene again. However, there's a little bit of a slowdown there, which we will have to jump over later. Now, continuing on, you see Willson killing these slimes. This is why we call this route the slime genocide route. He wants to collect about 100 experience in Blackwood Burrows. You can either do that by taking an orb, which Rufus is going to take most likely, or you can just kill a number of slimes in Blackwood Burrows. And killing the slimes is a little bit faster because you catch an earlier laser cycle. And so far, Wilson's movement has been very clean. He has about, I'd say, 4 seconds of leeway to catch that cycle, but he's pretty experienced, and if he doesn't mess up this jump, he should be good in the cycle right here. Oh god, okay.
Gets caught.
Actually drops, saves it, lost the cycle though. But
still better alive than dead.
Losing 1 cycle is, as many cycles in this game, it saves about 8 seconds to get a cycle, so he lost about 8 seconds by that cycle. On the right side, you see Rufus doing the orb jump. He's taking this 100 experience orb instead of killing the slimes, so he doesn't really have to worry about the laser cycle.
Now, we're focusing a lot on experience, and that's for an upcoming trick that we will go into detail very soon, which requires you to have 19 or less experience for a level up. So that's why we're putting so much emphasis on the different experience routes, because it's a very important trick coming up that saves a lot of time.
But first we get the very important dash skill, which is going to allow us to go very fast in this game so far, and especially Blackwood Burrows in particular is a really slow area because you're just riding around these platforms. like you can see Willson doing at the moment. Also, Rufus on the right side is riding these platforms. But after we lift the darkness, we will get the dash skill, and this is really fast.
Yeah, the dash skill was added in definitive edition of Ori and the Blind Forest. This whole area of Blackroot was, so it's not the vanilla, but it's well appreciated because it allows us to be really speedy Oris and dash across the screen.
Indeed. Now, this next skill tree is the infamous dash tree. There's a little trick called dash gliding, which you can do. You dash into a direction, and then you have a short frame window in which you have to go neutral input and jump, which is a thing we call dash gliding. And you should on the left side see what it looks like right now. This is what it looks like, and that's just what a normal dash looks like. Another dash glide right here. Willson is going to use this dash glide in order to skip the slow zone that I talked about earlier right here. So you don't really see that there is a slow zone there because he just skipped it, putting this little trick to use. Now, Loopy, do you want to talk about what Willson is going to do right now?
I would love to talk about this. This Frankie friend that you're seeing on Wilson's screen, we are going to lead him to the right-hand side. This lovely, juicy Frankie has 19 experience in him, which is why we need to be 19 XP or less from the level. Level ups in this game refill your health and energy, and there's a door upcoming which you require 4 energy to open. Now at the moment our runners only have 2 maximum energy, so we can't open it. However, if we enter 2 energy, kill the Frankie, and then level up, we get 2 more energy refilled to enter into the door, as you're seeing here. So we're allowed to break into where we're not meant to be yet, and it saves a whole heap of time in navigating the world.
It's a really big sequence break. However, it puts you at 0 energy, and this area that Willson is going through right now can be pretty scary. He should be in the clear right now. Also, after grabbing this energy cell, he can save anywhere he wants, really. And there he puts down the save, so he's safely through this trick. On the right side, Rufus is attempting his Frankie Bog. Now on the left side, Willson is attempting another short little trick. He's going to wait just a little bit right here. There we go. Now he's going to dash, and if he's... Oh, okay, the setup wasn't quite correct. He was looking for a little bit of a ramp there. And if he were to dash off the ramp, he would actually catch the crushers on the way moving up. So this would, in the end, get him an earlier crusher cycle and, again, would save him about 8 seconds.
Pretty difficult trick. If not frame perfect, it's very precise. I don't know the details, but even top runners can't get it with full consistency.
Especially with tournament nerds, they do tend to mess with your muscle memory a little bit.
I would expect now for Willson, placing down that save, and during the cutscene, grabbing an ability to save, allows him to quit, reload, and move during the tree animation. So he's doing some blind movement to the left off screen, jumping over deadly toxic water and around spikes. Very good blind movement. You can see he was already partway up the wall, having jumped around some deadly spikes. Very good memorization and execution there on Wilson's part.
Also, a little bit of a high five from our runners here. Rufus just entering the double jump area. Willson is leaving the double jump area. On the left side, you will see Willson attempt another trick. It's called grotto skip. It's a very precise jump. He nails it.
It doesn't make it look so precise.
Yeah, and also that jump is another precise jump, which Willson, of course, being the type of runner that he is, he just nails it first try. So
doesn't even pause for breath. Just zooms straight on, smooth as butter. Very good. Meanwhile, from Rufus's side, we're seeing his blind movement running over, again, deadly water around deadly spikes. If he decides to risk going up the wall, let's see how he does. Very nice blind movement from Rufus as well. Perfectly executed by both runners. I'm impressed.
Yeah, Rufus is definitely putting on a great show so far.
Right behind.
Only the major difference between him and Willson really is just these minor movement optimizations which the top runners tend to just have over the not so top runners. But here's grotto skip for Rufus. Okay, he doesn't get it first try. He's looking for a mic, but gets it second try.
Second try.
Very nice.
Didn't have to land on top of the platform, did it? Jumping off of it. That always adds an extra swag point in my book.
Yeah, that platform, once it starts swimming, it makes the jump so much more difficult. Oh, okay, on the right side, Rufus did not skip the cutscene, so he's going to have some rocks falling down here. However, he seems to be navigating through them quite fine. He has to wait a little bit. Okay, don't get hit. Gets hit.
Still has some health to spare.
Wow, as a speedrunner, it's pretty weird seeing this cutscene. Oops.
Yeah, less experience with this, I assume, from Rufus. It's not normally seen, so trying to adapt on the fly, picking up a safety health there, very wise. I believe he was at 1 health. So, yeah, and he navigates it just fine. Doesn't manage to skip this cutscene either. Not a big time loss, but we're gonna have to wait for Ori to scream and then move on. Meanwhile, Willson entering the Ginzo tree, doing another cutscene skip there. Not the biggest cutscene skip, but appreciated one. And now we're seeing the first dungeon of the game, and really the only dungeon that you're gonna see any measure of.
Yeah, this is the Ginzo tree. It's a tree of verticality. It's a verticality tree, so to say. And it's yeah, I planned it ahead. Yeah. Anyway, so you see Willson doing a very special trick here. This is called telehopping, and almost none other than Willson is doing it. I think. At least I don't see it that often. It saves about like 1 or 2 seconds, but it's pretty tough to execute. Willson is just so used to that he didn't even break a sweat doing this.
Yeah, because the portals reset your double jump, you can double jump to and fro, each time going through the portal and resetting the double jump, allowing you to ascend. An intentional death, by the way, from Willson there, getting a good cycle on this shooting flower. Just important to note, it wasn't an accident, it was very heavily planned there. Now he's heading into the first Ginzo mini-boss.
Yeah, and this is interesting to talk about this mini-boss, is because it's like one of the only sources of RNG in this game, really, which the position it can spawn in. There's like 5 positions, and it's random where it spawns. But there's a 1-frame tell, and if you know what to look for, you can actually see where it is going to spawn. And this way, normally you get a 5 cycle. You can get a 4 cycle if you're very fast. For Willson, it was the expected 5 cycle. So, very nice mini-boss fight for him.
Yep, no problems, no deaths. Nice and clean. Meanwhile, Rufus is now at his Ginzo tree, going to be entering.
Also, you might have seen Rufus on the way to the Ginzo tree. He picked up an ability set which Willson did not pick up. We will get to that pretty late in the run. That's the route difference we talked about at the start, which Rufus is doing the Terror Break route and Willson is doing the Crazy Juggle route. So keep that in mind. Saves about 8 seconds for now.
Oh, Willson is now pink. And he has a huge skill in Ori and the Blind Forest known as Bash. Very unique skill to the game, allows you to grab enemies or projectiles, fire them one way while firing yourself in the opposite direction. It's really powerful.
Also allows for the double bashing, which we alluded to earlier. This is what a double bash looked like. You might have catched it. Might have caught it. Normally, you just get 1 arrow while bashing. You bash Ori in the direction of the arrow, and the thing you're bashing in the other direction. However, if you're doing a double bash, you can kind of input 2 directions, really.
Yes. Also worth noting, right now we're doing a key duplication trick. We're halfway through it. You may have seen Willson die there. That was not a mistake. We enter 3 keys into the door, die while the 3 keys are in the door, and the game gets confused and returns those keys to the inventory whilst respawning them into the world, allowing you to then recollect them and have the old lives versions of them in your inventory, bringing your total of keystones to 7. So we're cheating a little bit to get some keystones for later on, instead of having to do some long swims.
Some very deadly swims, if I...
Yes, we're not cleaning the water. We're not finishing Ginzo, which would normally make the water not toxic and lovely to swim in. But we don't care about saving the planet in this run. We're just trying to get to the end, so the water remains toxic.
Ooh, okay, Rufus on the right side. He is making his way to the bash tree. Yeah, has to be really careful right now. Because he took some damage in the spikes, he actually wasn't at full HP, so that 1 jump ended up... he ended up dying to the 1 jump in the end, but he should be fine now. His XP is set up. Now on the left side, Willson is... Okay, he has to reload. That's the thing that can happen in the blind movement for some reason. He was saving to do a little bit of a blind movement to skip the lasers. Oh god, please let there be a good backup safe nearby. Oh, okay. He actually
We're back at the key duplication.
Now, I haven't seen his inventory. Does he already know at which stage he is?
He hasn't brought up his UI as far as I know, so he's doing the full key dupe, so he's going to have to go through this area twice.
Okay,
nice window of opportunity for Rufus.
definitely a window of opportunity, but you can just see how much ground Willson has made up over him. So this race is pretty close once again, and it really doesn't happen that this little soft lock with the blind movement. Where we'll get back to that once he attempts it again, I think.
Okay.
Talk a little bit about that, but first, repeating the key dupe. Rufus is on his key as well.
Yeah, they're both on the same screen. This is being a race, all right.
And Rufus gets the key dupe.
Yep. Back to the second mini boss, which I didn't comment on before. Kind of the final boss of Ginzo in this specific run. Normally you'd put that to the escape, but we don't do the escape. And easy work of this mini boss. Redirect 4 shots.
Not doing the escape, of course, makes the water poisonous. So this is why we have to do the trick coming up here shortly. The swamp entry trick. I guess we can start talking about that a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
So after the successful blind movement, which Willson is attempting very soon here, he will be bashing a frog to a very specific position because he's going to use its projectile to actually break some floors, which he is not supposed to break in that way. And this is just going to let us enter the stomp area, which we normally would enter after the escape. But of course, since we don't do the escape, we have to do this precise series of frog projectile bashing.
Important knowing Willson did not risk the blind movement for a second time, opted for the safer, just watching the cutscene. Here we go, we're manipulating this frog that the community has deemed to be named Ringo, for a reason you'll see ahead, and he's breaking these floors that we shouldn't be able to break, with some nice double bashes there, and breaks into the swamp, which is where you'd normally end up after doing the Ginzo escape and having clean water, but we've skipped all of that.
We did indeed. Saves about like 40 seconds, so it's definitely worth doing it. However, the swamp entry can be a little bit tough, so you see... Oh god, no.
I hope he saved after before the frog node.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Ringo's still there.
Everything is fine. There's absolutely no reason to panic. This trick is not hard at all. So Rufus is bashing the frog a little bit like Willson did. He is actually on controller, so he's doing a little bit of a different method because he doesn't have access to the double bash.
Yeah, bringing Ringo along with him instead of double bashing the shots, and is making sure to go up before this last shot, because when frogs fire shots, they kind of save a limit on the height of the shot, so depending on where Ori is, so if you're higher up, they're willing to allow their shots to go higher. You cannot manipulate their shots above this perceived ceiling that they spawn with. So we have to do some movement there to allow a shot to go high enough. Willson reusing Ringo on the way out to grab this ability cell.
Has to be careful of lasers right now. He normally spawns them, so hopefully he remembers. Okay, he does.
He does.
Ooh, okay, that was actually pretty close, but I guess Willson is the cycles. And now he's attempting a little bit of a very interesting trick. If he does this correctly, you won't see a thing. And he gets the skip.
Nice. Yep. There is technically a cutscene there, though we hope to not see it.
Yeah, so you have to just wait at a very specific shot and then do a bash. It's pretty timing based, so you can mess the trick up quite easily. And now there's another very interesting trick from Willson right now. Okay.
Loses the shot,
You
goes
will
for the... Oh, sees the cutscene. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, he has used an energy to save down there, I think, because the spikes are insta-death, and if you don't get a bash, you don't really want to be put back all the way. So I think he didn't have his save up.
Wise move. Wise move.
Now on the right side for Rufus, also lasers. He skips them, just needs to make sure to not fall, and now he's going to be attempting his Kuro cutscene skip.
Yep, so he got to get
Maybe
into a
we'll
very
see
precise
him.
position. Setting up his position, bashing, and here is the cutscene, unfortunately for Rufus. So this is the cutscene that we try to jump through, but it's a very specific trick. You need to start in the right place, bash quickly and at the right angle, and oof. Sometimes everyone misses it occasionally, so there you go, a little bit of Kuro action for you. While Willson heads into the valley.
Loses about 17 seconds to watch that cutscene. Now this valley area, it is a very interesting area because it has not so, okay, I have actually no idea how to describe this trick. It's okay, Rufus on the right side taking a huge death actually through the spikes. He was trying to damage boost through them, but he didn't have HP to make it, so has to watch the cutscene again. However, I want to direct your attention to the left side now, because I want to explain this trick coming up. Fast Stompers is what it's called. You're going to be seeing Willson bash the spider projectile up here at a very specific angle. Then he's going to race... Okay, he didn't like that shot. It actually looked pretty high. And okay, he liked that one, so he's going to race to the ability cell on the right side. Has to... Okay, that was a very good, very long stomp store. Okay, there's actually so much happening, but this is what's happened. And you might have seen the ability cell when Willson grabbed it, the cutscene started playing right after, so he has to be very fast.
Yeah, so directing your attention to the right, unfortunately Rufus took another death on those insta-kill infinite damage spikes in Spider Stack area and has been sent back before the Kuro cutscene, but does get the skip this time, so proves to everyone that he knows how to do it. It's probably tournament nerves getting to him here, but hopefully he can get through this deadly area. It is risky trying to do a stomp stall there, and the walls are unforgiving with their bumpy nature. Anyway, bringing your attention quickly to the left-hand side, we're seeing a Sorrow Bash trick, which is a very difficult trick. Willson does not make it seem difficult at all. Zooming through there, you have to direct the bird and yourself through those deadly spikes without either of you touching the spikes, or one of you would die, and you need both of you. Now we're going on to...
But that's not it.
Yeah, go on. Go ahead and talk about Crazy Juggle.
This is Crazy Juggle, which Willson is doing right now. So far, he's fine. He has to do, and again, very precise inputs all the time. It's a 2-frame window, actually. And if he presses one of his buttons, like, not at the correct timing, the frog takes too much damage, and he has to take a backup frog, and it loses lots of time. And this trick only saves about 8 seconds. The time save comes from the ability cell, which he skipped earlier, if you remember, before the Ginzo tree. But Willson made that trick, again, look pretty easy, so... He's having a good run for himself right now.
Yeah, very good run. Very impressive. Whew. Meanwhile, Rufus is entering Valley, and will soon be doing his attempt at Fast Stompless and the Sorrow Bash. Willson heading over through the Dorito caves, as we call them. Any touching on the walls with his 3 health would kill him, but he navigates it expertly and is now reaching charge jump.
Yep, did another quick little ghost door, and the charge jump skill not going to be too useful for him. Rufus is doing a trick, but the charge jump skill is actually pretty useful. But Willson did the Crazy Juggle route, so okay, takes a little bit of a death for the frog, but he has made quite a lot of way over Rufus due to Rufus having trouble in the valley area right here. So Willson is making his way to Misty Woods, while Rufus on the right side will be coming up to Fast Stompers.
Now, we're having some consideration from the truck here that potentially Rufus has leveled up something undesired. Having an extra purple skill after Magnet. I haven't had a chance to see that for myself, but that is cause for concern. However, in the present time now, he's going for...
Ooh, okay.
Trying to do Fast Stompless, but did not make it to the ability cell. Did get to hit the rocks with the shot, so the shot was good, but the race didn't quite work out, unfortunately.
He got this time save from the skip. However, he's missing an ability cell right now, so he has to get a backup cell. And if what you said is true, that he has maybe misleveled something, this could potentially be an even bigger problem. We will see how he'll attempt to come back from that. Okay, so he will be taking the ability cell to the bottom right here.
So while he does that, Willson is navigating through Misty Woods, a favourite area for speedrunners because of all the crazy tricks you'll be seeing. Lots of charge dashes. Well, while charge dashes do cost energy, you can cancel them with a bash by bashing an enemy, charging into an enemy and bashing, which refunds the energy, or stomp cancelling to re-get your energy. And the combination of these is what's allowing Willson to zoom across our screens without spending all of his energy. It's a very fun area for many speedrunners.
Yeah, it's really fast because you can almost infinitely charge dash with the stomp cancel trick. Now Rufus on the right side is climbing up Valley again. He seems to indeed have missed one cell already because he misleveled something, so he has to actually get the cell, which he wasn't able to get earlier. Now he's all caught up, and he can actually start attempting his Sorrow Bash.
unfortunate. He was planning on doing the backup probably before Stompless and had to do the backup and grab this cell once again. But he's fully on track once more.
Now on the left side for Willson, he is coming up to a mini-boss. He might not see it for long though. And it's gone.
Once again, I was looking somewhere else, and by the time I looked, I don't believe any of you who tell me that there's a mini-boss there. I never see it for myself.
You definitely don't get to see it with runners that are as fast as Willson is. He'll just be zooming to the last skill, to the grenade skill. Now on the right side, Rufus is attempting his Sorrow Bash. He is luring the bird, and that should be fine. Yes, this looks good. Okay, does not get hit by the spikes, makes it. We'll see if he chooses to save somewhere around here, or if he's comfortable enough to keep going through the Sorrow area.
Now, those of you who've been paying close attention will have noticed Willson go up to get the Sunstone and then come back down to get Charge Jump. However, I believe it's likely for Rufus to go to the left here first, which he does through Dorito Caverns, navigating it hopefully with safety, because there is no safety safe placed. There we go, beautiful. He'll be getting this ability and then going for something called a Terror Break, which is an alternative to the crazy juggle craziness that we saw from Willson.
Yep, the Terror Break is going to put to use the Charge Jump skill, which Rufus has collected right now. There's an interesting mechanic with Charge Jump in this game, where the hitbox of the Charge Jump actually carries over 1 frame after you've died. So we're going to save up on a ceiling with a save anywhere that we've used multiple times throughout the run. And then, after the ability cell is leveled, we're just going to die during a Charge Jump, and then for 1 frame after the respawn, the Charge Jump hitbox will actually break the ceiling. So now he puts down the save, he charge jumps into the spikes, and he breaks the ceiling. And this is Terror Break for you.
Now, you may have just seen on the left side of the screen, Willson fly through the air unexpectedly. Oh, he takes a small death, so you'll get to see it again, probably. Here we go, demonstrating it for me now. Beautiful. That is what we call a grenade jump. Now, you've seen charge dashes and you've seen charge jumps. Grenade jumps are kind of similar in the sense that they will send you flying, very similar to the rocket jump, which you've just seen there, where you charge dash towards an enemy and make the game forget to slow you down, so you go flying. By throwing a grenade and then 1 frame later charge jumping, the game forgets to slow you down and allows you to jump at whatever angle you want as long as you're hanging onto a ball and aiming. Very useful skill, and used at the end to save half of the final cutscene.
Oh yeah, this is going to be really important at the end. I believe Willson will be doing some more of these grenade jumps to be a little bit faster. But he will be doing the warmth skip method. Or at least he's planning to. So he will be trying to save a little bit of energy on his way to the final dungeon right here. Also picks up his 5th health cell. He needs to be at 5 health to survive the final swim, so there's no way around that. Okay. Did not stomp into the lava. Now he's at 2 energy. He has to get this grenade jump. Gets it. This is really good because he wants to have 2 energy for the final escape.
And now we're going to be seeing a 1 frame trick called Door Warp. Now, in this game, if you enter any door on the first frame it's loaded, the game gets a little bit confused and happens to place you at a location where you weren't intended to spawn. It just so happens that the door for entering Horror, as you can see here, first try, sends you to the end of Horror and allows you to go straight to the final escape. So we're skipping all of Horror here. And here's
next
the
trick
warmth
coming
skip.
up right now. Yeah, this is warmth skip. So Willson is quitting out at a very specific timing. Didn't actually get the skip right here, so we'll see if he attempts it again. So yeah, he took a little bit of more time there for the quit out. When he's confirming to quit the game, he needs to have the very specific timing. And then it looks like that. He has to do a little bit of blind movement here. And there's the danger of stomping into the lava, but Willson is very experienced at this. He makes it through, has only 1 energy left for the final escape now, though, and actually burns that energy, so he's not going to be able to grenade jump. We'll see if he chooses to take that energy back or just skip the final grenade jump at the end. He is watching his opponent, so he knows that he's ahead, and I think he's probably not willing to take any risk.
Just going to watch the final cutscene here.
Yeah, just take the time. Lost swim is poisonous. Okay, he makes it out there.
Nice swim. Making sure to manipulate the fish, like moving quickly in the room before to ensure the fish are in a good position for that, and safely through without taking any extra hits. So that's got to be GG for Willson. Essentially,
definitely
just a small walk with Nori.
It will be about 1 minute until he finishes the run. And we can focus a little bit more on the right side, I think.
Yes.
Rufus is going through Misty Woods right now.
Yep, making sure to get through that puzzle. Most runners, well, all runners know that puzzle off by heart, but things can happen. Little flubs here and there, but gets through it fine and is navigating these deadly spikes. It's always fun watching Misty movement and seeing runners zoom through with their own little personal flair, setting up a save. Good safety save location there.
Yeah, the safety save, it's another of these things. A save costs 1 energy, so you will see the faster runners actually skip more safety saves in order to just navigate around the map a little bit faster. But Rufus, of course, maybe wants that extra bit of safety in that run. Now,
let's see this quote-unquote mini-boss of yours.
There's no mini-boss there.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, everyone keeps telling me there is, but I think this is an inside joke against me. So just going through that empty room just fine is Rufus. He's going to be exiting Misty and heading down to Lower Blackroot. Oh.
And Willson finishing out with a time of 32:21. Definitely not one of his best races, but it's enough to survive this round of 1, really. This is only 1 race, so yes. Rufus will be out of the tournament. Willson will advance into the bracket stage further, and the future races will be best of 3, so there's a little bit more room for error, you could say.
Yeah, this being so far, I believe Wilson's slowest run of the tournament, with his worst qualifier being a 31:34, but that's just definitely tournament nerves getting to him. Let's see. Willson is available for an interview, so I'm not sure if we should wait until the end or bringing him now.
Well, okay. I guess we can wait a little bit. Rufus should be finishing out in about 3 minutes. There's another race coming up at the hour, but there'll be plenty of time to get to hear the thoughts of our runner.
You see, jumping over the slow zone there, not a 70-second, I believe, cutscene there that we skipped, so definitely important to get that skip. And the final skill is now acquired by Rufus. See if he goes for any extra grenade jumps for flair of his own.
Oh, that's also a just casual way to exit this area.
Yeah. I mean, I personally don't like grenade jumping unnecessarily, so I can't say I blame him.
And the reason why grenade jumps are pretty tough is because it's a one-frame trick. There's no other way to describe it. You have to press the grenade and then the charge jump 1 frame apart. So you can mess it up, and it loses energy and also loses lots of time in many places. Apart from the final grenade jump, not many grenade jumps save that much time.
Yeah.
Now, Rufus is not doing the warmth skip, so he has a little bit more energy that he can use on his way to Mount Horror right here. According to his stats, he's also going to take this health cell right here. Okay, he's not doing that. Yeah, he has taken the Black Oblor's health cell, so he's also at 5 health, has to also do a pretty precise swim. But he's definitely a pretty experienced runner. His time is not as great as Wilson's time, but Willson is number 4 on the leaderboard, so his time is expected to be really great.
Yeah, for context, Rufus's personal best is a 35:45. So this, once again, tournament jitters getting to both of our runners here, but it's still a respectable run, no matter, considering the circumstance. I'm very impressed. Now, let's see, door warp. It's a very difficult trick. Doesn't look like he got it first try. Going for it again. 1 frame upon loading.
Yeah, door warp is one of these tricks. It's pretty easy, you could say, because it's literally just press up at the frame the game loads. But you only have 1 frame, so it's not really consistent. But
And once
I
you
guess
mess
what
it
I
up
mean by
once,
easy is it's easy to understand how the trick works, executing it, and
Yeah.
especially there's a weird thing with muscle memory again, which we see for Rufus right now. Like you were going to say, once you mess it up, you tend to mess it up quite a lot. So you can get infinite by it, but it saves lots of time over not doing the trick because we don't have to clear the whole of Mount Horror.
yes, that was still much faster than clearing Horror. Horror was a very long and elaborate and deadly dungeon, so thankful for that trick. No want skip here, just watching the cutscene like a sane person. We're going to see Kuro coming down, noticing the warmth get returned, and threatening our lives.
And he will be able to see where he's going. Willson was not able to do that, so this is what the final escape looks like. If you can see what you're doing, okay, you survived that rock.
Matrixing that boulder, just dodging, weaving through it.
Now he will be doing the final grenade jump. So far his energy count should be good, but first the final swim. He has to wait for the fish to... Okay, the fish should still be fine.
Yep, it's close,
okay,
and he makes it. Very nice.
Makes it through there nicely. Now jumping up, and he's going to position for the final grenade jump. Okay, didn't get it first try. This might actually be good, because I think there was a potential danger of soft locking the first grenade jump for him. Okay, line up. Calm down your nerves, and...
It's a one-frame trick.
Okay, he get it this time. He get it this time. I know. Okay,
sure.
There's plenty of energy to try.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh god, no, it's a soft.
Uh-oh, yep. And he realizes he's reloading. That is the aforementioned soft lock, the dreaded soft lock. If you get unlucky, Ori will go to the left of the screen, and you will just be staring at a black screen until you reload. So going for this final escape once more, very unfortunate for Rufus.
Luckily, you can tell when you're going to soft lock by Ori turning to the left. That's why we freaked out there when Ori just turned to the left, which is pretty much indicating the soft lock. I think he might have been a little bit too high on the position there for the final grenade jump.
I will admit his positioning was a bit worrisome, but I had hoped for the best.
Oh, we still haven't fully understood that trick. Like, it seems some spots still work, even when you're out of the quote-unquote normal range for the grenade jump to work. Okay, fish cycle looks good. Only takes 2 ticks of damage. He's through the swing once again. So makes it look pretty easy.
Last time was
going to be attempting the grenade jump again.
Last time was a 6th try grenade jump. This time he's got the jitters out. He knows what he's doing. Positioning quite high up again, but gets it first try and is
first
fine.
Try grenade jump to finish the
first
fight.
Try. GG to Rufus once more, who is now in the holding right club.
Just needs to hold right. We'll skip half of the cutscene, which Willson had to watch. So he's going to finish out with barely under 40 minutes in this all skills run. And once he finishes, I believe we can get Willson in for a short little interview. And we'll see if maybe Rufus also wants to join us for that. So there's the final time, 39:43:50.
Congratulations to both respectable times. Sub 40 is no easy feat. So that was a good race. Close throughout many points of the race. It was actually quite exciting.
It definitely was a race. We had lots of spaghetti in both of these races as well. We had the soft lock. We had stuff happening in this team.
Looks like
it was
both
definitely
of our races are down for the interview, which is fun. We'll get them both in and see their perspectives on the race that just happened. In they come now. Greetings. Hello, hello.
Hello, Rufus. Hey. Hello, Willson. GG on your races.
Yeah, GG, Willson.
GG, dude.
So let's start with our winner of this race, Willson. Just in general, how would you rate your general performance throughout that race?
I mean,
like out of 10, I would give that run a 3 or something by my own standards. I played like fairly well in certain parts, but then I had some really big mistakes. But it felt pretty good, like just playing through it. So yeah, it's definitely not very good, but it wasn't awful.
So, a question to you, Wilson. Like you said, you would rate it a 3 out of 10. Now, I'm not an expert on Crazy Juggle myself, but to me it looked like an pretty much perfect Crazy Juggle. Would you say that Crazy Juggle was perfect? And if so, like, tournament nerfs, do they affect you with a Crazy Juggle, or are you just used to the trick so much that it didn't really matter at this point? Or is it still a pretty scary trick to pull off in a tournament?
So first off, that Crazy Juggle was far from perfect. There was some one-framers in there. Well, you know, the perfect Crazy Juggle is the trick performed only by 2-frame delay. But it had a couple of one-framers in it, and it could have been a lot better. But, you know, I got to the top, so it was all fine. The most important part is that you make it. And if nerves, if they affect me, I wasn't very nervous for this race, so it was pretty good. But I do get nervous, and it does definitely affect most of all my Crazy Juggle, and I would say my fast Stompless actually. Like, I get so nervous about the aiming for that trick. But yeah, nerves definitely affect me.
Now, I'm wondering, Wilson, what went through your brain after the blind movement unfortunate death where you had to load the backup save? Was that how much of a concern was that to your system, and considering the tournament nerves that were already present?
I was definitely a little shaken by that. I think that's like the fourth time or something that's ever happened to me through hundreds of runs. So I was a little shaken by that, as I said. But I did watch the restream, so I knew where Rufus was, and I knew where I was. I knew that I was still ahead, and there's still plenty of run to go, so I wasn't very concerned about the run itself. But yeah, it was definitely a surprise, and I did like bash myself a little bit because of that.
Now, speaking of watching the restream, Rufus, I believe you noted that you were also watching the restream. So given that, after seeing in Ginzo Kidu room, you were still close together, did that affect your outlook on the race at that point?
I don't think I ever thought I was gonna win, but it was just kind of funny because I look over and I'm like, because I mean I was focusing on running, and I hit the teleport and I have a small break, and I look over, I'm like, where is he teleporting to? Like, where? And I'm like, wait, that's the same teleport as me. So it was just kind of funny, but I didn't ever think I was gonna win.
So you didn't think you were going to win the race? Like, I think not many people would expect to really win a race against Willson, and it was round of 1. But to you, Rufus, you've been with Ori for quite a while. I just wanted to ask you, do you have any further plans to do it, like to keep running this game, or will you be waiting for Will of the Wisps maybe? Just what are your plans with this game?
Yeah, it's hard to say for me right now. I kind of have been developing a love-hate relationship with the game. I will say, like, at the very beginning of the run, I was like, man, this is feeling good. Like, I want to improve my time. And then when the spaghetti hit, I was just like, oh, I don't want to ever play or touch this game again in my life. So give me a few days, and then I'll maybe be able to answer it.
Okay.
I'm just proud that you did manage to beat the burb in the end for the career cutscene.
Yeah.
So,
Alright.
similar question to you, Wilson. However, you're going to continue through the tournament. You have won the last tournament. I guess you're planning to win this one as well. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm gonna try it. Like, of course, I'm gonna do my best to win this one. The chance of doing that, though, like the possibilities, are slimmer this time, I'd say. The competition's are improving way more than I have, So it's definitely gonna be a tough run if I'm even gonna have a chance to get to the finals. But I'm gonna try it, so we'll see.
Yeah, your next opponent is going to be one of Cheese Lover or Tritonite. Got any predictions on who you need to be preparing for?
Oof, that's a
Very
tough
close
question.
leads.
Yeah, they're both very good runners and pretty even in skill, I'd say. So that one's definitely gonna be close. I'm gonna put it to Cheese though. He's been spooky like forever. I never know what to expect from that guy. He can put up these really crazy good times. So I'm gonna put it on Cheese. So.
All right. Well, we'll see how that happens later on. But for now, thank you for joining us for the interview. And that's this race signing off. But if you're watching, don't go anywhere because in 9 minutes, I believe, we have Luther versus Matter Monkey on the same channel, I believe. So that's going to be something to look forward to. Seed 11 versus Seed 22, I believe. A closer race, could go anywhere. So don't go anywhere. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for co-commentating with me, Sparrock. Thank you.
Oh, it was a pleasure, Ludwig.
Thank you for the Truck Poogle, Griffs for the broadcast. It's been a lot of help having the aid of all of you. And that brings the end. Willson moves on. Rufus is unfortunately knocked out, but with a good performance. Thank you for watching.
Yep, short little intermission because we're going to change restreamers, but we'll be right back.